are starting chapter 4, writing linear functions. So the first thing we're going to talk about is writing linear functions, writing linear equations in slope-intercept form. Now, slope-intercept form is y is equal to mx plus b. Y is equal to mx plus b, where m is our slope and b is the y-intercept. And the first few here, while we look at them, we want to write it. We're going to take the information that's given, either slope, intercept, 2 points, or whatever the values are, and find the equation. Now, these first few are going to give us the slope and y-intercept. So for this first problem here, they tell us the slope is -3, and they tell us the y-intercept is positive 1/2. So if I want to find the equation, the slope-intercept equation for this here, so we can plug in the information given. So y equals, well, m is the slope, and what is our slope for this line here? So we'd have -3 times x, because we're plugging in -3 for m, so I'd have -3 x plus, what is the value of b? What is the value of our y-intercept? 1/2, so it'd be plus 1/2. And that's it. That's all we have to do for this here. We just need to write the equation. Oh, almost. And we have written the equation. That's it. That's all we have to do for this here. I don't think so. Questions on this here? So let's look at the next one here. So again, we want to write the equation line in y equals mx plus b form. So we want to write it in mx plus b form, where m is the slope and b is the y-intercept. Where m is the slope and b is the y-intercept. Now, again, they told us the slope. And the slope for this equation is 0. The slope is 0. So we can plug in 0 for m. X plus -2, because -2 is the value of b, the y-intercept. And b stands for our y-intercept. Now this one here, unlike the last one, we can simplify a little bit because we don't really leave it as 0x. Well, 0 times anything would be 0. So what are we really left with? So this equation here in slope-intercept form would be just be y equals -2. And that's all we have to do for this one here. Any questions on this here? Any questions on any of this here so far? If we're good with this here, we can move on to the next one. And again, on this one here, we're wanting to write the equation of a line in slope-intercept form. Y is equal to mx plus b, where m is the slope and our b is the y-intercept. So it tells us the slope is 3. So I'm going to replace m with 3 because that's the slope. The slope is 3. M is standing in place of the slope. So the value of m for this equation here would be 3. So we plug it in. Now the y-intercept is, so I replace b with -1. Now we don't normally write plus and negative. So this would be the same as 3x what? minus 1. Because plus negative 1 is the same as minus 1. They're the same thing. Any questions on any of this here? Any questions on any of this here so far? Are we good with this here? Yes? Okay. Let's look at one more. Look at another one. Y equals mx plus b, where m is the slope and b is the y-intercept. Now, what's our slope for this problem here? So y is equal to what? 1/2 plus 0, because 0 is the y-intercept, 1/2 is the slope. But we don't normally write an equation as plus 0, so we can really drop the plus 0, just leaving us with y equals 1/2 x. And that's it. Questions on this here? Any questions on any of this here? We ready for the next one? Okay. So let's look at number 1 here. So we're wanting to write this in slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b. Well, the slope for this first one is 7, so we'll plug 7 in for m, which would give me 7x. 7x plus 2. We can just say 1/3 x minus 1. So I could have written this as y equals 1/3 x plus negative 1, but that is the same as minus 1. Any questions on any of this here? Any questions on any of this here so far? We good with this here? Okay, well, let's look at what's next. Now this here, again, we're still writing an equation in slope-intercept form. So we want to write the equation in y equals mx plus b. We want to write this in the form of y equals mx plus b. Now the intercept, the y-intercept is where it crosses the what? The y-axis. And this right here is our y-axis. So where it crosses it at is 0, negative 3. So the value of b, the value of the y-intercept would be what? And it won't be 0. It's the y value, the negative 3. Now we don't know what the slope is, but I know that the y-intercept is negative 3. Because at the y-intercept is going to be 0, a number. Because the y-intercept is 0, a number. The value of x at the y-intercept will always be 0. So if I have a point 0, so in here negative 3, the y-intercept is that negative 3. And we can call it 0, b. Yes, sir?
How did you do x plus?
So for this here, the y-intercept, the value of b would be that negative 3. So it is the y-intercept. So this one here, it didn't directly tell us the slope or y-intercept. It gave us this equation of a line with 2 points. Now, because one of the points is 0, negative 3, well, that's the y-intercept. Because the y-intercept will always be whatever this value is for this here. Because the y-intercept for any function is 0, a number. So here, 0, negative 3, the y-intercept is negative 3. So I went on and plugged it in. Okay, I'm going to erase this here. Now, the only other thing we're missing is the, what? the slope, the value of the slope. Now to find the slope, we can use this slope equation. And we got this in already. Because the equation for slope is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Well, we were given 2 points to find the slope, yes? So we can use these 2 points to find the equation, or find the value of the slope. Now what goes on top is our y values, 3 and negative 3. Which one do we want to use first? It doesn't really matter. We just need to pick one. So 3 minus negative 3. So 4, 3, because it's always in the form, a point is in the form of x comma y. The y value would be second. So we picked this one to go first, this one to go second. So it'd be 3 minus negative 3 over our x values. Since this one went first, its x value is 4 minus 0. So whichever y value goes first, its x value has to go first on bottom. So on top, we have negative 3 minus negative 3. Well, negative and negative would make a. 3 plus 3 is. 4 minus 0 is. Will 6/4 reduce? Will 6 over 4 reduce? It would reduce to 3 over 2. So what's our slope for this line? 3 over 2. So we plug it in for m, and we get this here. Right here. Okay. So we plug it in. Now, if we want to, we can simplify it a little bit because we don't like the plus and negative. So really, we'd say 3/2 x minus 3 would be the equation of this line. So they indirectly gave us the y-intercept because they gave us the point 0, negative 3. Well, whenever the x value of a point is 0, it is what the y-intercept is. It's at the y-intercept. So knowing that, it told us that the y-intercept was negative 3. And we used the slope formula, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, plugged in our values of the 2 points, and we're able to find the slope. We plugged that in and simplified, and we got our answer. Questions on this here? Let's look at this one here. So again, we're wanting to write this in y equals mx plus b. Well, they gave us the point 0, 2. So we have the y-intercept. The y-intercept would be 2. So I don't have the slope, but I have the b value. So we're going to find the slope, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So what are the two y values that he gave us? The two y values that he gave us are negative 1 and 2. So we can do negative 1 minus 2. And since I use negative 1 first, 4 has to go first on bottom. So we'd have 4 minus 0. Any questions on this here so far? Now, what is negative 1 minus 2? Well, negative 1 minus 2 would be negative 3. 4 minus 0 is? Will negative 3 over 4 reduce? No. So that's our slope. Well, we don't have any adding negatives or just kind of weird signs. So the equation actually is y equals negative 3/4 x plus 2. And that's it. Questions on this here? Questions on anything we've done so far? Are you ready for the next one? Yes? Let's look at this here. So we're wanting to write this in the form of y equals mx plus b. Well, hey, 0, negative 2. Again, they gave us the y-intercept, didn't they? So what is the y-intercept for this here? Negative 2. So really we could say y equals, we don't know m, but we can say whatever m is, mx minus 2, because we can plug in negative 2 for b. But what do we need to find? We need to find the slope, yes? So if I'm finding the slope, we're going to use the slope formula, y equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So what are our two y values that we're given? 2 and negative 2. So how do we want to put those on top? Which one goes first? Negative 2 minus 2. Since I chose negative 2 first, what x value has to go first? 0. Minus. Number on top would be? Or the other x value would be 4. Because whatever y value I choose first, its x value has to go first on bottom. Now negative 2 minus 2 would be? 0 minus 4 would be? And negative 4 divided by negative 4. Because anything divided by itself is 1. Plug it back in and we're done. Any questions on this here? Any questions on anything we've done so far? Do we need to see another example of one of these here? Do we feel comfortable with these here, using the equation or the line to find the equation? Yes? Okay. If we feel comfortable with this here, let's look at the last type of problems we're going to look at. We're going to write the equation of a line in slope-intercept form. This time we're given 2 points. Hey, what did they give us here? 0, negative 1. Well, what is? It's the y-intercept, because whenever the x value is 0, the y-intercept is the y value. So here the y-intercept would be negative 1. So y equals whatever the value of m is times x minus 1. So I'm going to go on and fill in the y-intercept because it was told to me 0, negative 1 is the y-intercept. So the value b would be negative 1. But we still need to find the slope. Well, the slope is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Well, hey, they gave us 2 points to help us find the slope, yes? So we can use those. So what are the y values? What y values would we plug in? So I can do that. I can say 5 minus negative 1 over what? Well, a negative and negative would make a, so 5 plus 1 is? Negative 3 minus 0 would be? Negative 3. On top? Yes. Because our negative and negative would make a positive. Yes. So we did 5 plus 1 and gave us 6. Negative 3 minus 0 gave us negative 3. 6 divided by negative 3 would be negative 2. Because a positive divided by a negative would be a negative. And 6 divided by 3 is 2, so we get negative 2. And since we have the slope, we can plug it back in. And we get y equals negative 2x minus 1. Questions on this here? Okay, let's look at another one. We ready for the next one? Yes? Y equals mx plus b. Well, again, they already gave me the y-intercept because a point where x is 0 is at the y-intercept. So 0, negative 5. So the value of b for this one here, this equation would be negative 5. So I can write it in as minus 5. I can go on and plug that in. Now what do we need to find? We need to find the value of the slope, the value of m. So any questions on anything we've done so far? So slope is equal to y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Well, our two y values are what? So we'd have negative 5 minus negative 5 over, we can say 8 minus 0. Well, negative 5 minus negative 5, well, the negative and negative would make a positive. So what's negative 5 plus 5? Over 0 divided by 8 is? Well, 0 times x is going to be 0, because anything times 0 is 0. So what are we left with? Y equals what? Y equals negative 5. Any questions on this here? Any questions over anything we've done so far? Are we good with this here? Yes. Let's look at this one here. We'll look at one more because I feel like most of y'all are getting this, or everybody's getting this. Yes? So we're skipping one, and we're moving on to letter B. Write an equation of a line that passes through the given 2 points. So we're wanting to write it in slope-intercept form. Y equals mx plus b. Well, again, they gave me the y-intercept, didn't they? 0, 2. When the x value is 0, the y value is the y-intercept. So the y-intercept for this would be 2. The y-intercept value would be 2. So I can plug it in. I can plug it in for b, which would give us our plus 2. But I'm still missing the slope, yes? So since we're missing the slope, we'll set it up as m is equal to y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Now what are our two y values? So we can do negative 1 minus 2. Well, since negative 1 went first, what value has to go first on bottom? 4, because whatever y value goes first, its x value has to go first on bottom. 4 minus 0. Well, negative 1 minus 2 would be negative 4 minus 0 is? Will that reduce? Will negative 3/4 reduce? No. So we can go on and plug it back in. And that's it. That's all we have to do for this here. Any questions on any of these here?